Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. All right, so we're seeing today the market cap is slipping a little bit. It has been hovering over $2 trillion, and now we're seeing it sneak below that mark, albeit not by much, 1.967 trillion. And Bitcoin dominance, guys, still staying relatively similar, 41%. We have seen a bit of a slip in the market, so a bit of a red day, and again, not by much, single digits, if that. It has been a grueling sideways move for the entire crypto space. I've got the total crypto market here on the daily. And, even at its peak, it's kind of hard to imagine that we've lost a third, about 33% of the total market cap since that peak back in November when Bitcoin hit a new all-time high of $69,000. Now we're down here just under $2 trillion. And as you guys can see, that is a decrease of about 35.3%. So a third of the market just kind of wiped out since November. However, it does look very promising that we are going to rebound. Now, I saw this guy's from Rickus_trades here on Twitter. For those wondering if this is still valid, still on support and still valid with good accuracy so far. Spot the circles on the chart. Now, this is the Bitcoin chart, today's Bitcoin chart, and giving us an example of Justin Mammus's sentiment cycle. So look at this cycle and look how closely it is matching up with what we are currently seeing on the Bitcoin chart. Now, if I were to bring Bitcoin up right now, and you guys know we always follow Bitcoin because that is where we're going to get a sense of where the rest of the market is going. Unfortunately, right now, we haven't really seen Bitcoin even do too much. So altcoins, we haven't seen anything really interesting happen for altcoins. But if you take a look at this sentiment chart, take a look at Bitcoin right now. Here, let me put that line right there on that portion of the chart that he is looking at over there. And you can see he has circled a couple of points here that we should be paying attention to. So that $42,000 level, this again is significant support, resistance. We have to break through that. And again, we were kind of grinding up. We did surpass that. Now we're coming back down, and now we're hitting it yet again. Going back to this, you can see emotional sentiment, emotional trader sentiment attached to some of these moves. So like running confidence, buy the dip, enthusiasm, and then, we came plummeting down. Subtle warning, overt warning, and people in disbelief, and then panic, discouragement. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And then the wall of worry. So this is where traders are like, okay, where do we go from here? Should I have cashed out of my cryptocurrency in April of 2021 last year when we were at new market highs, especially for altcoins? What is going to be the outcome? So this, according to Rickus, is what we're going through right now. We will see more peaks and valleys. However, it is looking promising and likely going to come out of this. Again, this does not look like a top like anything else we've seen in former Bitcoin rallies. And also, when we look at altcoins like XRP, it is just still following the same trend. So XRP right now trading at about 76.2, and nothing too different for XRP, still forming that bullish pennant pattern, getting less and less volatile as the days go on. So interesting to take note of that, and I will link this tweet in the description of the video if you guys want to go over this in more detail. Wanted to bring you guys some news with what's going on in the world and what is affecting the global economy. I saw this from Michael at Val5Links. Russia's central bank slashes benchmark rate, pegs ruble to gold. Ruble rebounds to pre-war levels. So not going to get into this in detail, but just to kind of get a sense of where we were, where we are, and perhaps where we can go in the future amid the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The Russian ruble has managed to rebound despite the strict sanctions imposed against the Russian Federation. The country's central bank has taken a few steps to protect the nation's currency, as the Bank of Russia revealed a fixed price for gold and rubles. Furthermore, after pegging the fiat currency to gold on Friday, Russia's central bank announced a surprise interest rate cut that starts on Monday. And I did a video a couple of weeks ago now with regards to the announcement when Vladimir Putin did say that there were going to be changes. I will link that video up here in the top right-hand corner. So now we're seeing the price of the ruble rebound. Let me just bring it up real quick here on the chart. You guys can see that. So despite some peaks and valleys, we did see a huge decline for the ruble over the last month, and now it has rebounded up, peaking back up to former levels. I was mentioning that back at the end of the month. We did see another rebound, but it's coming right back out of that. So Russia still playing their cards, and looks like they're very good at the game. I don't want to get into this in too much detail, but I am going to mention this. Economists and analysts have attributed the rise to a few choice chess moves Russia has played in recent times, like surprisingly announcing the ruble would be backed by gold. Russia's central bank pegged the ruble to 5,000 for a gram of gold, while creating a gold parity for a national currency is something nation states did decades ago. The practice has mostly been retired, and so Russia going back to that old practice that I think a lot of us would consider a more appropriate and responsible practice, considering today our fiat money is pegged to literally promises. So again, like I said, this is changing the game. I will link this in the description if you guys want to read more. On the heels of that, I also saw this from the Cryptic Poet. Bank of America, which is a Ripple partner, has warned recession shock is coming and says crypto could actually outperform stocks. They've come out and said it. While markets around the world suffer in the face of major geopolitical shifts, major cryptocurrencies remain largely unscathed. This has prompted economic organizations and experts to see digital assets as a more robust market than traditional asset classes, most notably stocks. Michael Hartnett, the chief investment strategist at the Bank of America, commented on the current decline of the macroeconomic situation in a weekly research note to the organization's clients. And in the note, he said, inflation shock is worsening, rates shock just beginning, recession shock is coming. And so, even if we just take a look at the total market cap again for cryptocurrencies on the daily, we can see, there has been a bit of a decline, but we are noticing what is looking like reaccumulation. It is mirrored here in the Bitcoin chart. And let's not forget, when Bitcoin hit that high back in April, it rebounded 50% and then actually made a new all-time high. When we look at other stock markets, guys, like the S&P 500, there was a peak back in January, the decline, and now it's really struggling to get back up to that new all-time high. Here, if I throw Fibonacci on here, where is it right now? Wow, look at that, up at the 0.702 and being rejected from that level. Let's look at the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ. All right, NDAQ. Used to be QQQ. Here we go. NASDAQ here, same kind of thing. We did see that high back in November. Tried to make a new high, did not get up there. Rebounding, and what's going to happen now for the NASDAQ? I mean, we're not up to the 0.702 for the NASDAQ, but it isn't looking promising, and I'll just bring up the Dow Jones. As you can see, again, another high back in January 2022, so just January of this year, rebounding back down, coming back up, not quite hitting the 0.702, did hit the 0.618, but now coming back down, right? So you compare this with Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is looking like it is in a good spot. The rest of the crypto market, if I bring up the total 2, also kind of mirroring that sentiment. Just yesterday, I did a video on the total 2 market cap where we could see altcoins go. I'll link it up here if you guys did not catch that. I talked about this fractal pattern, the accumulation that we saw back from 2017, and I expanded it, superimposed it on the chart today, and the outlook looking very promising. So if you guys didn't catch that, I do suggest you watch it if you are interested. Also saw this, guys, with regards to Ripple XRP lawsuit news. Garlinghouse alleged that the regulator is trying to create a new standard on how digital assets will be controlled in the country, a move in which the SEC has gone too far. So there are different parts of this lawsuit, and Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson are being targeted. They are also being personally sued. They denied all allegations leveled against them by the SEC and requested the court to dismiss the complaint. In response to an embedded allegation report from the SEC, the two also tried to establish that the 2 primary statutes defining a security in the law did not include digital assets. Ripple's response also denied relief to the SEC regarding judgment or any other consolation. Garlinghouse and Larson appealed to the court to dismiss the action and give judgment in favor of the accused. Interestingly, the response filed by Garlinghouse mentions that the SEC is seeking an after-the-fact litigation. It pointed out that the commission had failed to grab this case by deliberative guidance and rulemaking. The defendant said that the SEC is trying to send a regulatory message to the market. Brad Garlinghouse even went on the record. He said he alleged that the regulator is trying to create a new standard on how digital assets will be controlled in the country, a move in which the SEC has gone too far. That is a quote. So it's interesting, James K. Filan bringing this up to us now that the individual defendants' answers have been filed. That was supposed to happen yesterday, and it did. The SEC's position on additional discovery is due on April 15th, so that's the next deadline that we should be eyeing, and the joint proposed scheduling order is due on April 22nd, 2022. Just as a side note down here, also we're still waiting for decisions on the SEC's motion for partial reconsideration, the defendant's motion to strike the supplemental expert report, the defendant's motion to compel turnover of the Estabrooks notes, and the decision on the SEC's proposed redaction. So a few things here that we're waiting for. Now, there are some opinions about this Jeremy Hogan, who, by the way, happens to be celebrating a birthday today, April the 9th. So just wanted to wish Jeremy Hogan a happy birthday. He sees no delays in the Ripple defendants filing their answers. So again, that was supposed to happen yesterday, and it did. So he shares his expectations on the Ripple SEC case, and he expects the answers to come by April 8th, which they did do. Let me just go down here. Within a week of the filing of the individual defendants' answers, the SEC is expected to inform the court of its position on whether any additional discovery is required. And again, those deadlines outlined in that last tweet over here. The parties, both the SEC and Ripple, also have been directed to meet and confer as to a briefing schedule for summary judgment motions. The parties shall submit a joint proposed schedule for the court's approval no later than 1 week after the SEC's submission. So Belisarius 2020 here. I recall that the answers of Larson and Garlinghouse are due tomorrow. And then here's just the response. Jeremy Hogan says, I don't think they will miss those deadlines. The delay could be in the form of the SEC refusing to agree to reasonable timeframes, and then the judge would have to set the timeframes. At this point, I expect the SEC to play that game. So his prediction wasn't going to delay on yesterday's deadline, but moving forward, we could see them play the delay game. Explaining the relevance of the date Ripple defendants file their answers, Hogan earlier stated Judge Netburn ties the deadlines to how quickly Garlinghouse and Larson filed their answers. The sooner they are filed, the sooner the 1 week clock starts. Also, she ordered a summary judgment briefing schedule, which hasn't been ordered previously. He continued by saying the parties are supposed to lay out a time frame for summary judgment briefs to be filed and finalized. Once those briefs are submitted, the case could be decided in theory at any time. So we could, in theory, see a verdict at any point. Interesting to note. And guys, again, with the SEC story, new documents here in this tweet from Michael at Val5 Links, shared by Empower Oversights, show that the former SEC director violated the Security and Exchange Commission's rules. So yes, this has to do with Bill Hinman, and Michael just tweeting this out with the SEC refusing to produce William Hinman's emails. New documents shared by the Empower Oversights Committee show that the former SEC director violated the SEC rules. The documents, which feature messages from Hinman's emails, suggest how the former SEC director violated the agency's rules multiple times, not just once, multiple times. In some of the conversations, Hinman was specifically warned by Shira Minton, former SEC's ethics counsel, not to meet with Simpson Thacher and Bartlett, which was the firm that he worked for, a New York-based international law firm, while he was still working with the SEC. Conflict of interest much? I think so. Here's a quote. You have a bar under the criminal financial conflict with Simpson because you have an ongoing financial interest in the firm. Meeting with them while having such a conflict is not permitted. That was an excerpt from the message that Minton sent to Hinman. However, Hinman neglected all warnings and went ahead to have the meetings with Simpson Thacher on 4 different occasions. And we have those dates here, November 2017, then September 2018, September 2019, and September of 2020. John Deaton from Crypto Law also staying on top of this. Here is the thread just added to our document library, the Hinman emails. Hinman explicitly warned he may never meet with Simpson Thacher while in office. And what did he do? Met with Simpson Thacher. Guys, we've got the emails right here to William Hinman from Shira Minton. And here they are, the firms. To Bill, it occurs to us that you have a financial conflict with your old firm, not just an impartiality one. Hence, you should not be having any meetings with your old firm, even group meetings. So it was outlined specifically in these emails. The staffers replied with more explicit and pointed warnings. He has a bar under the Criminal Financial Code, which I just read in that last article, that no contact with Simpson Thacher, even calls with them, is legally allowed, adding there is also a serious optics issue. So Crypto Law here outlining that in some of these emails. My outlook is up to date if you want to schedule something. However, the analysis is the same for Simpson as it's always been. You have a bar under the criminal financial conflict with Simpson because you have an ongoing financial interest in the firm. That's the quote. Also, there's a serious optics issue, which the XRP community has uncovered through multiple grueling hours of fine-tooth combing research. You can't be seen as being granted special access to a firm you have a financial interest in. This meeting is small enough to raise concerns. Crypto Law also goes on by saying in the previous release, the Hinman-Bonney emails, meaning Joshua Bonney, Hinman is seen violating this rule at least 4 times by meeting privately with Simpson Thacher partner Josh Bonney, including 7 months after his explicit warning. It would be a criminal financial conflict to do so. And here is the email. How's it going? Crazy, business as usual. Want to have lunch again sometime? So not just even a paper trail, leaving a paper trail saying, hey, let's meet up in person and have lunch together. And, anything we talk about would be off the record. Hey, thanks for reaching out. I'm around next week for lunch, if that sounds good. So casual emails, however, he was not supposed to have any of this conversation with his former colleague. Crypto Law goes on, we don't know what Hinman and Bonnie discussed in their private meetings on these dates, or how many times Hinman violated criminal financial conflict rules without using his official SEC email account. Again from Joshua Bonnie, see you then and there. Boss, eh? Well, William Hinman was at the SEC. Interesting. So this was brought to us by the Empower Oversights Committee. Whistleblowers and research, they've been doing a great job too at exposing this corruption. And Stefan Hubert also bringing this up. People are now acting like Ethereum got a free pass when in fact the free pass cost us more than $15 million. D2BMTM saying here, yes, you don't see it. It's not free. It costs at least $15 million to Bill Hinman and whatever amount to Clayton and everyone else. Ripple needs to learn from this guy. That's how we do business in the US. And MJT down here saying, no, it cost us XRP hodlers $15 billion. It cost Simpson Thacher $15 million for Hinman's speech. I also wonder if Hinman is one of the disguised Ethereum whales. So that's another point. And I think it is likely that he is. I think we could probably name a few of them. John Deaton over here also getting into the $15 million paid to Hinman. He says Eric Lipton is a Pulitzer Prize winning journalist who wrote a great story on this case some time ago. To his credit, in the story, he acknowledged claims that related to the conflicts of interest. I remember discussing the $15 million paid to Hinman in retirement benefits. And so he's just retweeting out this tweet from the Empower Oversights Committee. The documents show that the SEC Ethics Office cautioned former SEC official William Hinman that he had a direct financial interest in Simpson Thacher, yet Hinman continued to meet with the firm despite these warnings. John Deaton continues, I responded that it's very easy to classify ongoing payments as retirement and skirt the rules. We now have clear proof that that is exactly what had occurred. Hinman had a financial interest in the ongoing success of the law firm while simultaneously being employed by the SEC. The corruption being exposed. He continues on as Chairman Clayton blessed the plan to bypass the ethics rule. It is now well settled that Clayton and Hinman's law firms were directly tied to Ethereum. Is it a coincidence that Clayton was the only commissioner to receive and give input in the Ethereum free pass speech? Interesting. Crypto mom herself, Hester Peirce, didn't get an advance copy of the speech or provide any input. The commissioner dubbed Crypto Mom by the community itself was left out of the biggest crypto speech in history. How could that be? Ethics informed Hinman he couldn't have contact with his law firm. He repeatedly violated this directive. What would ethics say if it was informed Simpson Thacher was a member of the Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, or Enterprise Ethereum Alliance, and Hinman planned on gratuitously giving Ethereum a regulatory free pass? They even told him he couldn't go out for dinner with his former partners if they were present. Why? The ethics office basically determined they weren't former partners of his, but constituted current partners due to his ongoing financial interest with the firm. They warned him of a criminal bar. Clayton became a CNBC contributor, and Becky Quick, Joe Squawk, Andrew Sorkin have decided not to report on the story. These are all journalists. How many times in history have thousands, 66,127 to be exact, petitioned a court asking to be sued? Apparently, that's not newsworthy at CNBC. This isn't a conspiracy theory, continues John Deaton. The ethics office itself was concerned and exchanged these terse emails with Hinman. Read the Grunfest letter, and I don't have to tell you guys again about the Grunfest letter. He directly said, he was a former SEC commissioner, by the way, and directly told Jay Clayton, look, you probably shouldn't sue Ripple and XRP for a multitude of reasons. After reading the Grunfest letter, read these facts. Help expose the corruption. So where are we standing now with this bombshell evidence? Crypto Boom here brought up a good point. If the SEC versus Ripple case goes to trial, then the judge will decide what makes a crypto a security or a non-security. So think about that for a second. If they push it all the way to trial, the judge gets the final decision. But if they decide on a settlement, they will have to come up with something that is mutually beneficial. Do you think the SEC wants to give up their power to decide what makes a crypto a security or a non-security? Of course not. SEC versus Ripple will have a settlement. It's looking as though, guys, this is becoming more and more of a reality, and it is also looking like it is going to come sooner than later. Even just going back to Jeremy Hogan's point here. He says with regards to the parties and the deadlines, the parties are supposed to lay out a time frame for summary judgment briefs to be filed and finalized. Once those briefs are submitted, the case could be decided in theory at any time. They are going to still try to push the deadlines. They are going to try stall tactics. But it's looking like day by day, the SEC is going to lose this thing. And Riz down here retweeted this out by Coach_XRP with regards to ETHgate, just demonstrating perhaps some of the people who were disguised Ethereum whales, namely Joe Lubin, perhaps Warren Davidson, William Hinman, of course, Jay Clayton, yeah, Gary Gensler, Mike Novogratz, perhaps. I don't know who that is. If you know who that is, put it down in the comments section. This is Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, Vitalik Buterin, of course. And then the image reverses. So who are the whales? Is this bombshell evidence going to have an effect in court? And because of this newly found information, is a settlement going to occur, according to Jeremy Hogan, theoretically, at any point? I mean, it could happen tomorrow, guys. We just don't know. The one thing we do know, though, is that we better have our XRP bags packed when this occurs, because poof, it's gonna happen out of nowhere. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.